Bow! Papa's here once again, and today I got a little something special for you. Double Herald build. I know, there's a lot of different minion builds, but you know what? I made it just for fun, trying to recreate one of my original Sin builds long time ago. Just to let you know, this is all off the cuff. I don't have a script in front of me, so let's see how this will go. I'm going to put the counter in the top right corner. We'll see. To start off, this build was about 20 divines total. But there's definitely a lot of things that are extravagant, not necessary, and could be substituted for something else. This build differs from my old build in that not only did I bring it up to 2024 standards, but also I'm going to go over the changes right now. It's not a, so start off, it's not a Guardian, it's an Ascendant for flexibility, which I'll explain in a minute. To me, Guardian just kind of offers some block chance and a little bit of damage, but with the Ascendancy that is Ascendant, you can go every which way. I did link the old build below, so you can kind of check it out. In my setup, I had Cyclone, Cast Wild Channeling, Eye of Winter, which then applied Poison, which then somehow did enough damage to trigger both Herald of Purity and call my Crawler out from slumber to attack my enemies. But you know what? I tried to recreate it this time around. It's not the same. It's just, I don't know, man. Something's changed. I couldn't recreate it. It's just either my Herald of Agony wasn't popping off or my Herald of Purity wasn't. So I tried messing around with Lancing Steel, and voila, it works like a charm. At least for having my Virulence stacks up to 60, the maximum amount for my Herald of Agony. For my Herald of Purity, I did something slightly different, which again, I'll go over a second. I'm just kidding right now. I'm going over it right now. Writhing Jar. Amazing. Both to trigger my Herald of Purity, but also with all of my belt, my ascendancy, my passive tree nodes, the Writhing Jar gives me 2300 life per usage, instant. That's huge. So I ended up picking up Corrupted Blood Immunity Jewel, and with the Pathfinder Ascendancy, every time I use any flask, I remove bleeding. So Corrupted Blood, bleeding out the equation. Writhing Jar, boom, right there. Perfect Sin energy. If you disagree, leave comments below. But Writhing Jar in this build, beautiful. So the other Ascendancy I got was Juggernaut for accuracy and endurance charges gained when hit. And with Forbidden Jewels, I got myself the Raider Ascendancy, giving me spell suppression, frenzy charges on hit, and a few other perks. I also have Assassin's Mark on hit for power charges. Now you're asking yourself, why am I mentioning all these charges? Because I got myself the one and only Devourer of Minds helmet, which then gives all my charges to my beautiful minions. So it's not just for me, okay? It's for my minions. Most of my builds are always made just for fun. I very rarely do any bossing. This build around, no exception. Minion speed was taken over something like Prey, Predator, better scaling damage supports on both my Heralds, because I just want them to zoom, go as fast as possible. The Triad Gloves that I use to convert their physical damage to elemental have 3 green and 1 blue. I just ran out of sockets. And honestly, even though I was trying to get 100% cold conversion, the little bit of lightning damage they do does help with, shocking enemies, which does a little bit more damage, which helps with freezing anyway, and even though it's only 75% conversion, so I'm happy with it. In the videos you've seen me using Vitality, I was playing around with so many different setups on this build, it's ridiculous. Like, I was just going off the cuff, buying expensive items, ran out of money, then had to grind quite a bit just to make some money to be able to buy the rest of the gear. And so through trial and error, I did have the Vitality in the video. I since have taken it off just because it doesn't really do much, and I'm using Steel Skin. And of course, we can't have it on the left mouse button click. So I just put it on Q, and what I do is just hold down the Q, and it's virtually the same thing. If you have trouble holding it down for the entirety of the map, you could put a tiny little weight on that Q button, and that will solve any and all issues. For gear, I am using the Oul's Uprising for Hatred version for 0 mana reservation on Hatred, which does give my Heralds quite a bit of damage. But honestly, there's so many different substitutes. You could play with Replica, Dragon, Fang, Flight, Amulet for either of the Heralds, or Ashes of the Stars for both. All of them are kind of similar. I just liked Yule's Uprising the most. Helmet, Devourer of Minds, like I mentioned before, I got myself Corrupted one for about 80 Chaos, which has +1 to maximum power charges, which is pretty nice. Again, sharing all my charges that I get to my Heralds. The only one that I kind of had troubles with was the power charges, but if you're clearing everything in seconds anyway, and the only one that takes few seconds to kill is the boss, you're going to get some power charges, and you're going to do more damage, and everyone's happy. Over the course of a couple months, I bought so many different support gem explicit one-handed weapons just for this occasion, because I knew I wanted to kind of make a build around a 7-link, 8-link, 9-link with the Squire. And so the weapon I'm using has +1 to socket gems, faster attacks, and added fire support gems. Unfortunately, it's not the greatest, but at the same time, I ultimately ended up needing to use Lancing, Steel of Spraying, and so Sword was the best bet, and I didn't want to spend 300 or 200 or whatever, 10 divines or 20 divines on a sword that would be slightly better. The one that I have, I think, was like 2 or 3 divines. I don't know. I bought it a while back, but you know me, always buying stuff on the cheap. I did get myself the calming calamity, which is corrupted with +2 to minion gems, making it +4 overall, and that's where my Herald of Agony lives. I forgot to mention, in my sword and Squire setup, that's where my Herald of Purity lives. I did get myself the Circle of Nostalgia +1 to maximum endurance charges. The implicit also has minion speed. It has nice Agony Crawler damage and Chaos Res while having the Herald of Agony. I did have a couple of other rings that were exactly the same, very, very similar, but this one having the implicit of movement speed for minions, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have to use Calandra's Touch to mirror it, because it's just, 4% more movement speed, increased, amazing. Had to do it, but you don't need to spend 3, 4, 5 divines, whatever the ring is now. Last but not least, I have the Tides of Time Vanguard belt. Again, I'm a flask finder essentially, so I'm relying on my flasks being up 100% of the time, and it actually massively helps with my Writhing Jar as well. So it's a perfect synergistic setup, which I really enjoyed. What's the final count? 76. I'm just kidding. I don't know what it is. I'm recording right now. I assume it's a lot, so my apologies for that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Oh, no, just kidding. That's a joke. If you join my Discord here and now, you'll get 5% off. No, I'm just kidding. I made a Discord recently. Join it. Feel free to chime in. Talk to me about whatever. Life. Path of Exile. Help me with my builds. And if you join now, you can see behind the scenes footage of me very meticulously going over my thought process and how I organize of how I make each build. So join now for free. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time with another video. Bye.